What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Bluebean's Not So Daily, exposing our classmates. It's Arky here. Today I'm exposing my absolutely brain-dead classmates. Me, Theo, Evelyn, and Mateo were all on the same recess soccer team. Sabrina was with us too, but she spent the whole game complaining, fouling, and yapping like she was getting paid per word. It was raining that day, so indoor recess was on, which was wild. Sabrina fouled Theo so hard we gave him a free kick. Then every time he tried to take it, she ran in and kicked the ball away like a little gremlin. Over and over, Evelyn kept yelling at her to stop and finally told me,
"Arky, hold her back before I actually crash out."
Meanwhile, Jordan was in the goal looking like he regretted every life choice that led him to this moment. The second I tried to hold Sabrina back from interrupting the kick again, Mateo suddenly acted like I was committing a crime. He started yelling,
"Leave her alone! Stop hitting her!"
like Sabrina was his e-kitten. Then this dude leaps onto me and starts kicking and punching me out of nowhere. So when he goes in for another hit, I twist his arm and toss him on the ground. He gets mad, jumps on my back, and suddenly I'm a human backpack. While this is happening, Sabrina is still interrupting Theo, so Theo finally pushes her. She slaps him across the face, and he starts tearing up. I throw Mateo off my back. Sabrina and Evelyn think the fight's still going, so Evelyn shoves Sabrina to the floor and yells,
"What the is wrong with you?"
Sabrina starts crying. Jordan is about to have a breakdown, and then he yells,
"Can you just stop fighting and go already?"
Then Sabrina gets mad at me because Mateo was on the floor, so she and Mateo both try to jump onto me. Theo forgets his free kick entirely and starts arguing too.
"Mateo, can you stop acting like a prick?
Bro, you cried over a slap.
It hurt."
Man, shut up.
So Theo slaps him. After that, Mateo and Sabrina charge at me again, for some reason. Mateo tries to kick me, but I grab his leg midair and he starts wobbling like a newborn deer. Sabrina tries to tackle me, so I eat Mateo onto her. They crash into the goal and almost hit Jordan. Jordan, who has reached his limit, kicks both of them while they're tangled up. At this point, our teacher, Ms. Karina, comes over, sees the nonsense, and sends all of us to the lunch hall. Sabrina sits next to Mateo and starts gossiping. Evelyn is over it and says,
"Raise your hand if you want Sabrina off the soccer team."
All our hands go up immediately. Next recess, we tell Sabrina she's out. Of course she refuses and slaps Theo again. He slaps her back and walks off. I block Sabrina because I already know she's about to do something stupid. And right then, Mateo tries to jump and kick me from the side. As soon as I see him jump, I took a step forward and he fell and hit his head. Sabrina slaps me so I get mad. But because she's a girl, I only pushed her off whilst she was riding Theo's back not too hard, because I'd obviously get in trouble if I was as aggressive as how I am with the bows. Recess ends, and of course, Sabrina goes full crybaby and tells the lunch teacher. We all get pulled aside. Mateo and Sabrina yell, "That's cap!" every 4 seconds, but guess what? They got suspended for a week. Me, Theo, and Evelyn were living our best lives.
Hey, my name is Puff, and his name is Billy. These things happened last year. He groaned my name in gym. I'm pretty sure it was intentional. And he did the anime love symbol with his hands. He would always talk to me when I sat behind him. At the end of the year, when the class was counting down, he said, "Hi, Puff," which confused me because I don't know why he said it. Even though I do not even have any classes with him this year, he's still bothering me, and I don't know how all of this began. A friend told me he was talking about me in her literacy class, saying something like, "Oh, you guys know Puff. She was in my literacy class last year and was super funny and nice and cute." Another friend said he told her and someone else that he wants to kiss me. One day, I went out of the classroom during 4th period to get a book, and he was right there. After I grabbed the book and walked back, I saw him staring at me, so I tried to casually but quickly walk into the classroom. I could feel him watching me until I was all the way inside. Another time, when my friend and I were walking to lunch behind him, he kept looking over his shoulder at me, and according to my friend, he even said, No, on God, Puff likes me. After lunch, I was waiting with my friend by her locker so we could go to 6th period together. And I saw him walking toward us right before we went into the classroom.
Hi, my name is Celine, and I'm going to be exposing my classmate Becky because you know what else begins with B, Boots, the monkey from Dora the Explorer, which describes her well. For some background context, I used to be friends with Becky, but then some things happened with the friend group we were both in, and we ended up getting kicked out. I'm not proud of the things I did back then, but I've changed and become a better person. Unfortunately, from what I've heard and seen, she hasn't. Throughout high school, I would see her in the halls during passing periods, and she would always give me this weird, angry stare. I just ignored it. At one point, we began talking again, and I told her about how I sent a Valentine to get back at one of my ex-friends, and how he thought it was his crush who sent it. Becky decided to tell him, and afterwards he came to talk to me privately, thinking I was obsessed with him, which I absolutely wasn't. I just wanted to embarrass him. After that, I stopped talking to her altogether. As high school went on, I kept hearing rumors about Becky, how she had a new boyfriend every week and was doing the boomba with them. When I first heard the rumors, I thought, damn, I feel bad for anyone who dates her. Then junior year came around, and partway through the year I got into my first relationship. I'll call my boyfriend Kyan. Before we even started dating, I already knew that he had dated Becky before. They were only together for 2 months. I had met Kyan twice before we started dating, and during one of those times Becky was with him. They were still friends after they broke up, but she wanted me to ask him if he would date her again while she went off somewhere, so I did, and he said no. While Becky and Kyan were dating, she made him skip class countless times and even tried to do the boomba with him. Thankfully, it never happened because he felt extremely uncomfortable with her. Kyan also told me that one time they were at the park with Becky's cousin. He was running around playing while Becky and Kyan sat on a bench. Suddenly, she forced him to duck down and hide because she saw her mom's car coming. Her mom told her to come over, and once Becky did, her mom started yelling at her and they began arguing. Eventually, Becky and her cousin got in the car and drove off, leaving Kyan alone in the park. Of course, I felt sorry for him. Luckily, he's with me now, and I treat him like the king he is, and he treats me like I'm the center of his world too. Back to the present. After Kyan and I started dating, I began seeing Becky a lot more in the halls, and she would stare at me with even more anger than before. That made me believe she had found out that Kyan and I were together. One day, my bestie and I were walking down one side of a hallway while Becky was coming from the opposite direction with 2 other people. The hallway in that part of the school is pretty small. My bestie and I didn't need to move since Becky's group was already taking up most of the space, so we just kept walking. She didn't move either. Luckily, I knew what was about to happen, so I made sure my shoulder was stiff, and sure enough, our shoulders collided. Once my bestie and I got inside the classroom, she asked if I was okay. I said yes, just that my shoulder hurt from the impact. After class, we saw Becky again in the halls. My bestie decided to punch her backpack, which made Becky stumble forward a bit. I grabbed my bestie's backpack and started pushing her forward so we could walk away. We stopped for a moment before going our separate ways, and I told her I was fine and that she didn't need to do that. She said Becky deserved it because of how hard she hit me earlier, but I reassured her that I was okay and my shoulder was just going to be a little sore. Then she looked behind me with a raised eyebrow. I turned around and got jump scared by Kyan. He looked mad. I asked him how long he'd been standing there, and he said, long enough to hear everything. Turns out he was waiting for me because he wanted to see me before his next class, and I didn't notice him since I was so focused on my bestie. My bestie left, so it was just me and Kyan. He told me to explain everything, and once I did, he was ready to go confront Becky, but I told him it wasn't worth it. After that, I didn't see Becky as often. That didn't stop the rumors from floating around, though, like how she was dating two guys at once, and when one of them found out, he told the other, and they both confronted her and broke up with her on the spot. As of now, I don't really know what Becky is up to. She left our school before senior year. I heard her mom kicked her out and she's living with her dad now. And just so everyone knows, I didn't get together with her ex on purpose, Kyan, and I genuinely love each other. I was definitely crushing on him like a simp back then, but he eventually realized he liked me too. Anyway, back to Becky. One of my friends still talks to her and said she's been doing well and hasn't dated anyone in a while, so good for her.
Hi, you can call me Angel. Today I'm exposing one of my old classmates. We'll just call him Owen. Now, Owen was chopped in everything. Chopped in looks, attitude, intelligence, everything. But the one thing he wasn't chopped at was annoying people. He was one of those people who could burp on command. Sometimes he would walk right up to people and burp in their faces. If he did it too much, it would give people, including me, headaches. He and his friend group used to call me names, like saying I was in space because I was slow at running. One day, Brian brought a fart spray to school. He and Owen planned on spraying it on the teacher's chair. Owen grabbed the spray and sprayed it on the chair anyway, while the teacher, who we'll just call Mr. 3, was outside the classroom. I can't lie, it was so smelly that even my table, which was on the opposite side of the classroom, could smell it. Everyone was doing the thing where you pull your jumper or shirt over your nose. Mr. 3 walked in and immediately knew something was wrong. He said, "Okay guys, who did this?" The classroom went dead silent because if you snitched, you'd be called a snitch for the rest of your life. So Mr. 3 started doing this thing where he'd give you a piece of paper and you had to write down who did it. When the teacher left the room, Owen started going up to people and asking if they snitched. Then he came up to me, saying, "Did you snitch on me?" I replied no. Owen responded with, "I know you did." He walked away after that, and yes, I did snitch. Honestly, I don't care if he gets in trouble. In fact, I like it when he does. The only part I don't like is when the teacher gets into a bad mood because of it. Owen was called out of the classroom, and later Brian was called out too. I'm pretty sure Owen told on him since Brian was the one who brought the spray. They didn't get a detention or anything, but they both got a pretty big punishment. Luckily, Owen and Brian aren't in my class anymore because of secondary school, though they're still at my school. Unfortunately, Owen did end up in one of my friend's classes.
Hi guys, call me Amber. I've got a little story time about this boy in my gym class. We'll call him Mac because the first thing that popped into my head was mac and cheese. Anyway, Mac is the kind of dude who loves to ship people. And for some reason, he's obsessed with shipping me with my friend. Let's call him David. Here's the thing. I'm already taken. But Mac never listens. One day I was working on an assignment in gym with David, just minding my own business until Mac comes over. He looks at us and immediately starts going on about how we're such a cute couple. I tell him again that David and I are just friends, but of course he doesn't believe me. And then, because my mouth has zero self-control, I accidentally blurt out that I'm taken. The moment I say that, Max's eyes light up. He starts demanding to know who my boyfriend is. I tell him it's none of his business. Instead, he threatens that if I don't tell him, he's going to tell everyone that I'm dating David, which obviously is a lie. I was honestly scared, but I also knew I had to stand my ground. So I just said, "Go ahead then." And he did. He literally told everyone in my gym class that I was dating David. On the bright side, I'm kind of used to this by now.
All right, so there's this one story I have about a kid in 5th grade. Let's call him Xavier. One time, I was chatting with my friends in the cafeteria, and Xavier was heading to the detention room with another student. Zoe, she was making fun of him about something, I forgot what. But Xavier got so mad that he dropped his tray and punched her. All the kids ran to the front of the lunchroom to see it. I didn't go because I was too hungry.
Pow, pow, pow! Cardi Bean in the house? Did somebody say food? I'm just gonna take this and leave. Toodaloo sugar booger.
But from what I heard, it took 4 teachers to pull them apart. Then they both had to serve in-school suspension.
Once upon a time, there was an exam. A spelling exam. While we were waiting for ma'am to say the next word, I told Kevin that I was nearsighted. Without my glasses, I can only see what's near me properly. So guess what he did? He shoved his damn book in my face. Since this was in, like, first grade, the only thing I cared about was not cheating, so I tried pushing the book away. His entire page got ripped, and I was the one who got in trouble. He got away with shoving a book in my face scot-free.
Hey, I'm Lucy. I'm going to tell you about a girl in my class. Let's call her Erin. She is super aggressive. During recess once in 3rd grade, she made the swings fall off, while classmates were on them. One of them got to go home afterward, but the other one somehow got detention. In 4th grade was really bad. She picked up a chair and threw it at a boy in our class because they touched her pen. Literally only that, and she went mad in like 3 seconds. One time in 2nd grade, I was in this friend group called the Pretty Princesses. I know it's cringe, but whatever. Then Erin said something awful to a girl in our group. Let's call her Nora. She said, "You shouldn't exist. You should leave the group because you're ugly." And Nora didn't come to school for 2 months. In 7th grade, it was a normal day at school when Erin started saying mean things again. After like 2 hours, I thought it was over, but the world had other ideas. She picked up a whole table and threw it at Finn. Finn wasn't in school for like 4 to 6 months. When the teacher said, "Go apologize to him," Erin just said, "Not my fault. He shouldn't exist." But that's all I've got for now. Thanks for listening to me.
Hi there. You can call me Magenta. So, I want to explain something that happened back when I was in 2nd or 3rd grade. There was a rumor going around about a kid, let's call him Joshua, who supposedly touched a girl's no square in the girls' bathroom. Nobody actually knew whether it really happened. It was just one of those elementary school rumors that spread quickly. If it had been true, I would genuinely feel awful for that girl. By the way, I was one of the kids who spreaded the rumor. I've wondered whether telling this story now counts as exposing myself.
Hello, I'm Veronica, and I have a story about a guy named William. He is a total teacher's pet and a class clown wannabe. One day, we were making friendship bands. Suddenly, William came over and asked me if I could make one for him. I said yes because I didn't really know him yet, and after that, we became friends. But a few days later, I thought he was supposed to keep the friendship band at home. Then I saw the band and asked him why he had kept it in his pouch for so long, and he replied, "I love you," and I knew he meant it in a romantic way. The next day, I forgot about everything and became friends with him again, but this time he was way too close to me, literally invading my personal space, and he did it on purpose. I ran away from him to the washroom, and William followed me into it, even though it was the girls' washroom. I was deeply traumatized and yelled at him, "Stop stalking me!" He suddenly stopped, rushed into the boys' washroom, and started crying. I could literally hear him whimpering. I didn't know how to react.
Hi, I'm Lexi, and I used to have this classmate, I'll call him Derek. Back when we were in maths, Derek would constantly push his chair into my table and then yell at me to move the table back, even though I hadn't touched it. This was in the nurture class, so the environment was supposed to be calmer and more supportive, but his behavior really stressed me out. After a while, I got so uncomfortable that I completely stopped going to maths until year 9, which is the year I'm in now. I'm still in the same class as Derek, but thankfully our seats are farther apart, so things aren't as intense as they used to be.
Hey, my awesome blue stars, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure to comment with blue hearts if you've reached this far, and also mention whose story was your favorite. Peace out, my awesome blue stars. Bye.